A very good morning, students. Welcome to the English class. Okay, in my previous video I had done half of the poetry for you all called The Schoolboy. Written by William Blake. Okay, I explained to you all the three paragraphs. The first paragraph, it is dealing with how the student is very happy to wake up on a summer morning and he loves listening to the birds singing on every tree. He even loves the sound of the hunter, that is the huntsman brings his horn, that is blowing his horn. He says, the skylark sings with me, oh what sweet company. But in the second paragraph he is contrasting and he is saying, but to go to school on a summer morn, it is taking all the joy away because he needs to sit under the cruel eye outward and in sighing and dismay, that is in completely discouragement, he needs to sit in the school. The third stanza he says, at times a drooping sit, that is he falls off and he says that neither he can find delight in the book nor in the learning bower. Learning bower, I told you, it is a classroom or a school. Okay. Then he says that he is gone through with the dreary shower. Then the next stanza, fourth stanza. How can the bird that is born for joy, that is born for joy, sit in a cage and sing. Sit in a cage and sing. Okay, here is a question mark. Okay, then he says, how can a child when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing, and forget his youthful spring. Okay, so here he is saying in this stanza, how can the bird that is born for joy? We all know that birds have freedom, but when you put that bird into a cage, what happens? The freedom is being snatched, the freedom is being taken away. So here he is trying to say that how can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? You might have seen birds sitting in a cage and still chirping, but that sweetness is not there. He is trying to say that you are crying, it is like a prison. So here he is comparing himself to a bird and saying that when we are born for joy, how can we sit in a cage? So one more question will be asked, cage is referring to what? Again, cage is referring to school or the classroom. He is saying, how can a bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child when fears annoy us, always you have some fear. You all know that a deadline is being given to you. You need to do your homework, you need to do your assignment, you need to submit your notes, etc. Always there is fear. For example, you have some family function or some outings you have to go, but still you have the fear that you need to complete that on time. Either you complete that out of fear before going, or after coming back, at least you see to it that you complete your work. But droop his tender wing. Droop his tender wing is you're just giving up your years of joy where? Into the fears that are annoying you and forget his youthful spring. You all know that spring is the season. Spring is the season after autumn. During autumn, all the leaves and everything fall off. During spring, you can see that little buds that come up. Okay, so he's saying that you forget your youthful spring. The next stanza, he says, oh, father and mother and blossoms blown away. And if the tender plants are stripped, of their joy, in the springing day, by sorrow and care's dismay. Okay, in fifth stanza he says, "O father and mother," he is calling out to his parents and saying that, "O father and mother, if buds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day, by sorrow and care's dismay." Okay, what is he trying to say over here is, "Oh father and mother, if buds are nipped," you all know what buds are. It is a tiny little bud. Later on it becomes a flower. He's saying what happens if buds are nipped? If it's been broken, it cannot blossom into a big flower. Okay? He's saying it cannot blossom, and blossoms blown away. It has been blown away. It has been destroyed. Okay? And if the tender plants are stripped, you might see outside your house on the roadside you have huge trees. How did they become trees? Because it was being planted, it was being watered, it was being taken care. At that time it was taken care, and now it became a big tree which has become shelter for many birds. Okay? And it is also giving us shade, it is giving us fruits, oxygen, etc. But when the plants were tender, if you would have just stripped off, if you would have taken away that, do you think that would have been grown into a strong tree? Definitely not. So he's saying that what? And if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day, during the springing days when they are coming up, at that time itself if they were being damaged, if they were being broken, do you think they would have done something better? Never. By sorrow and care's dismay. Okay? Basically, the writer, the poet is talking about the formal kind of education where everyone is being burdened with the assignments, the notes, everything. Okay? He's saying that there is no practical way of teaching at all. He's trying to say, he's calling out to his parents and saying, what happens if buds are nipped? If blossoms are blown away? If plants are being stripped during their springing day? Definitely they will not grow up to be strong. What is necessary is you need to take care properly. You need how we water the plant, how we take care of the plant. Same way, you have to show us love and affection rather than showing us fear and discouragement. Okay? The last stanza, he says, how shall the summer arise in joy? How shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer's fruits appear, or the summer's fruits appear, or how shall we gather, or how shall we gather what griefs destroy, or bless the mellowing year, or bless the mellowing year when the blasts of winter appear. When the blasts of winter appear. Okay, so here he is mentioning the three seasons: spring, summer and winter. Okay, see, he's using spring over here. Spring is referring to childhood. Okay, then he says how the summer's fruits appear. This is referring to the youth. Okay, winter, blasts of winter appear. It is referring to old age. It is basically talking about the 3 stages of the life of a person. Here he says, how shall the summer arise in joy? Okay, summer, your youth. How can it arrive in joy when you haven't enjoyed your childhood at all? Okay, you need to have some memories that you need to bring to your youth and recall and enjoy. He's saying, how shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer's fruits appear? You all know that during summer season, during spring season, it is the tiny little buds, the flowers that grow, and summer season you have so many fruits. He says, or the summer's fruits appear. Youth, during your youth, what is the fruits that you are going to get when you haven't enjoyed your childhood? Then he says, or how shall we gather what griefs destroyed? How can we gather what grief has been destroyed? What is grief also? Grief is nothing but the tension that you have in your mind. Okay, the fear, the discouragement that you have. You are sitting in a school completely and you have that pressure. 10th standard, you might have had this pressure from your family, friends, relatives, neighbors, everyone that you're in 10th standard, you need to study, you need to study. The kind of pressure you had is what he's saying. You were unable to enjoy certain moments of your life just because of the pressure that will be created. He's saying, how shall we gather? How can we get that we have destroyed? Okay, that grief has destroyed. Or bless the mellowing year. Mellowing year is what? Happy year. How can we bless the happy year? When the blasts of winter appear. Blast of winter is when you come to your old age. What are you going to tell? That this is how we were being treated. We had formal kind of education. We were always being burdened. We were being feared. We were being discouraged of doing something. What are you going to say? For example, you might have seen your grandparents. They tell you so many stories how they have enjoyed their life, etc., etc. Okay, what they did and all stuff. But when we become old, what are we going to give the lessons to our grandchildren? Okay, when you become old, what are you going to tell? When you haven't enjoyed your childhood, neither you have enjoyed your youth. Okay, so this is what this poetry is basically about. It is talking about how you need to understand what is being given to you. Okay, that is the schoolboy. He is giving you his experience, what exactly happened when he was in school. That is how in the morning he loved to wake, but going to school it is taking away all his joy. Okay, in third stanza he says that how he drooping sit and he is not finding delight in book, neither in learning's bow. In fourth stanza he is talking about how can a bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing. That is curbing away all this freedom. Okay. Then in the fifth stanza it is talking about how a father and mother, he is calling out father and mother and saying that how the buds are nipped away and blossoms blown away and the plants are stripped. How can they enjoy in their springing days if everything is being taken in their childhood by sorrow and care's dismay? That is, they don't have so much of care. How can they enjoy the summer's fruits? Okay, what happens when the winter arrives? What happens when the old age arrives? They are never able to do anything better. Okay, hope you have understood the poetry, students. Go through the poetry, and while I am writing this, I expect you to write this in your notebook. The poetry, I hope everyone is having your textbook with you. Please write down the poetry, write down the meanings wherever I have written and go through that. Okay, thank you.